What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Woo, 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 woo. I can't hit the high notes. My voice is still jacked up. I don't know what's going on. It's been like straight up a week. So we're going to keep going anyway, because ain't nothing going to stop this momentum train. So I just want to address something, because I did say happy Friday and we were just starting to celebrate. And I know that most people, take Friday as like, yay, it's here. It's the end of the week. I can let my hair down. And what I want to convey to you guys is that every day is a blessed day, right? Every day that we're able to wake up and see the sunshine and see the rain sometimes, it's still a blessed day, right? So please don't wait till Friday to be excited about life. You should be excited every day. There were some people last night who were planning to be here today and unfortunately are not. So please take every single moment as a blessing, and knowing that you can either continue to progress in whatever it is that you're doing. You can press the reset button if you need to, but just know that every opportunity that you get to open your eyes, it's a blessing. Please take advantage of the time that you have here. So what I want to get into today is a little something that I've kind of touched on it here and there, but I want to really do a specific video. And I've always been reluctant to include a lot of my own experiences, though what I share is based off of personal experiences. But in this one, I may include a lot of things about what I've gone through and be a little bit more specific and not speak so much in a general sense, because I believe this message is important for those who go through this and may want to understand how to navigate through everything. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying I have all the answers either, but just based off of some of the stuff that I've gone through and some of the stuff that I rely on in order to continue to put one foot in front of the other. So we're going to talk about the truth about living a life with God's favor. Okay, so in some instances, people may refer to that as, being anointed or having an anointing. We are going to talk about that today. Hey everyone, so we're gonna get right into this because it's gonna be a little bit lengthy. I have some notes here, so I want to keep it nice and compact, and because we have a lot to unpack and I want to make sure that everybody gets what they need out of this conversation. So one of the things that I want to say right off the bat, as I hear my little friend somewhere around here, sparrows are my spirit animals, so they tend to visit me a lot. One of the things that I want to make you aware of before we get into this is that everybody has God's favor. So it's not one of those situations where, there's a select few, or you had to go through, a set of tasks to accomplish God's favor. No, you have it. You don't even have to work for it. You have it. But you must be open to it. That's one thing. And the other thing is seeking God for it. God is not of such who will force anything on you. He wants to have a relationship with you, but he's waiting on you to take initiative, right? He can put all the warnings, he can put all the signs, he can put everything in front of you, but he is waiting for you to be open to accepting that. So once you're open to accepting that, then your life starts to shift in a really positive way. So let's get into some of the things that you may experience while having God's favor, or being aware and accepting of God's favor on your life. And this is in no particular order, no particular sequence. Everybody's life is different, but I found that most people go through a lot of the similar things that I'm going to list off here. So number one is the experience of gaslighting. And often, like, people gaslight you almost all the time. So for those who may be wondering what gaslighting is, really for me, as I understand it, is when people try to project certain feelings or perceptions or even thoughts onto you and also have you questioning somewhat your own sanity. So sometimes people will say and do things that will make you feel like, wait, is that what's happening? That's gaslighting. Another way of looking at it is you may be expressing certain thoughts, feelings, emotions, what have you, and that person dismissing it and making you question whether you're actually feeling those things, thinking those things, experiencing those things. That's gaslighting. So I have gone through this since childhood. I didn't even know there was terminology for this, but I've gone through this since childhood. So I am all too familiar with gaslighting. And it's taking me a long time to heal from a lot of things. But I still do experience gaslighting in my life. And most people who have a really kind heart or who are very embracing of people will experience gaslighting, because those who have no pure intention with you are experts in sussing out who is vulnerable or who sees vulnerability as something to respect and admire in some ways, versus those who really just throw up a shield and whatnot. When they see people who are good-hearted and kind, they are like wolves in sheep's clothing. They will rub up to you like they love you, and when they're ready to devour you, they will. And gaslighting is a form of that, devouring. There's also a provocation for you to step outside of your character. The reason why people do this has a lot to do with the fact that they, in their limited thinking and limited belief in people, has them looking at you like, you can't be this kind. You can't be this loving. It's hard for them to conceptualize the fact that someone could actually embrace them, flaws and all. And so because they do not hold that kind of spirit in their heart, they will do things to provoke you to step outside of that character, to say, I knew it. You weren't really like that. This is a front. You fronting like the rest of us. So you'll be provoked into stepping outside of your character. What does that look like? That looks like making snarky remarks. That looks like, calling you on something or trying to embarrass you in front of a group of people, or, insulting you, like being condescending is more where I want to kind of say, instead of insulting, being more condescending, trying to get you to feel less than. Does that make sense? And so if they poke enough, eventually you'll get angry and eventually you'll lash out. That is the goal. That's what they're seeking. So recognize that that is a tactic. And I know it's unfortunate. Why would people spend so much energy doing that? Simply because they don't have the courage to do the work for themselves, to develop themselves into someone like you. So, and really, as I list off, these things, just keep that in mind. This is a lack of courage and a lack of self-worth. And this is why people do these things. The next would be, people will tend to attempt to get close to you very quickly, or always want to be in your business. So they always want to know what you got popping, and there's a general, like, okay, every once in a while I could ask you a question or something like that. Like, hey girl, what you got going on? But the consistent, so how is this going? And how is that going? And, oh, so what are you doing? Someone with 21 questions that you feel like, wait a minute, do we know each other that well for you to be asking these questions? These are people who try to force some type of relationship with you. And a lot of times, like when you just meet someone, there's a natural process that happens. Of course, you chit chat, you do small talk. And then gradually, if you and that person find some type of affinity for each other, you will continue to develop that relationship. And then those questions will come into play. But when somebody's like trying to rattle off 21 questions back to back, that is sus. It's someone who is really trying to find a way to kind of weave into your life because they see that God's favor is on your life and they want some of that favor to rub off on them. Someone who's trying to get too close to you quickly. I have an example, a young lady who even physically would always be like up under me or sitting next to me, and it just made me feel uncomfortable. And it was like, well, sis, I know that we kind of know each other, but we don't have a relationship. So how about just letting things unfold naturally? And if I want to open up to you, then I'll open up to you. But when people are not giving you the time and space to decide whether you want to volunteer information to them, yet they just try to kind of weave their way into your life somehow, that is super suspect. So be mindful of that. And then another thing that I've gone through, y'all don't know the half. Y'all don't know the half of what I've gone through my entire life thus far. It's bananas. My last thing I want to mention is manipulation through flattery or trying to appeal to your giving nature. So I kind of highlighted that a little bit when I talked about people provoking you. But in this case, people will say all the right things in order to get close to you and for you to lower your guard. Please be mindful of that. These are snakes in the grass. And again, thank the Lord, I have some awareness where I just have this radar that when people compliment me too much, my antennas go off. Because I'm like, what you want? What is it that you're after? Because clearly you're after something. This is why you're trying to have me lower the gates. And I'm like, no, we ain't doing that. We are not doing that at all. So be mindful of how people approach you. It's one thing to say, hey, you've got, a nice outfit today, or I like the way you did your hair today. That's a compliment. But when someone's trying to appeal to who you are with flattery and saying, you're so awesome. This is why I can trust you. Oh, this is why you're so loyal. You're so this, you're so, you can tell the difference between someone who's paying you a compliment versus someone who every time they see you, all they have is sugary words for you. That to me is suspect. And now understand, you can feel the difference in energy between someone who's paying you a compliment versus someone who is flattering you because they need something from you or they want something from you. And a lot of times when they want or need something from you, they're not coming with a sincere, hey, Corey, I noticed that you're good at such and such. And I wish, you could help me out with this. Is it possible for you to help me out with this in this area? Because I know that you're really great at that. That's one approach. But it's like, oh, you don't know how good you are. You don't know how much of a XYZ, like that is flattery. And the flattery comes in this form for you, again, to lower your guard, to lower the walls, because whatever it is that you have as a gift, that person wants to use for their own personal benefit. But they'll tell you things like, I want to help you elevate. I want to make sure that your dreams come true. They'll even use elements in your life that mean a lot to you. So like, for instance, I had someone who used the fact that, I always try to make sure that I do right by my child. I want to be a good mom. Every mother out there wants to make sure that they are a good mom. And they question themselves repeatedly. Am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right decisions? We make a lot of sacrifices. And I'm not just saying moms, parents in general, but just more specifically to my case, they were appealing to the fact that I tend to question whether I'm making the right decisions as far as the future is concerned about my daughter and how we are going to build this life together. And so with that, people can bring opportunities to you where they'll try to shine you on and say, I want to help you and your daughter. I want to help you accomplish this goal, that goal, etc., etc. And then, kind of shine it on with, I want to bring out the best in you, and you don't understand what you possess, and da da da. And I'm saying, like, okay, if I don't understand what I possess, clearly you do, and you want to use this. So we got to be mindful of the types of language that's being used in order to manipulate us into something that will either harm us ultimately, and if it does create some positive gain, it's going to only create some positive gain after that person who is trying to use you has taken all that they need to take and say, okay, well, now I'll help you now. But more times than not, there's no positive gain out of that. It really is to take your gifts, manipulate it, and elevate themselves rather than elevate you. So you got to be careful of these people when they say the things that they say to you. Hear it. And then my solution would be test that spirit. My thing is, because I have one narcissistic parent who loves to talk all the time, and yes, I'll do this for you, and I promise to do that for you, and this is something that has been an ongoing thing since I was a little girl, I'm attuned to when people are talking pure shit. So just to put it bluntly, so what I do is I watch you, I observe you, because you're going to get tired. People who are disingenuous cannot hold up the jig that long. The mask is going to fall off. They're going to get exhausted because it's going against whatever spirit they have within them if it's not genuine, right? So with that, always test the spirit. Make sure that the words and the actions are matching, because if they're not, it's likely they're trying to use you, okay? And when I say use, more like misuse, okay? So I want to bring a Bible verse into this because, every now and then I just love to bring a Bible verse into something. Ephesians 6:12, you all are familiar with this, but just memorize where it comes from. Ephesians 6:12, we do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but spirits and principalities in high places. I may not be saying that whole verse properly, but at least I'm giving you where you need to go for it. Ephesians 6:12. So all in all to say is that we're not really dealing with people. We're dealing with the spirits that are on them or within them. And so we have to be aware and on guard and prepared for when we encounter these spirits and how to best deal with them. So I'm going to rattle off real quick because it's getting kind of long right now as to some of the things that I do to remind myself that I have God's favor. I have a responsibility. We have a joint venture together, and I need to stay focused on that. So one of the things that I do to combat a lot of this stuff is remember my assignment. What is your assignment, Corey? What is your assignment, Jill, Jack, Tom, Harry, Layla? What is your assignment? Remember what that assignment is, because that is what the enemy is trying to knock you off of. And so once you get that foundational understanding that these things coming at you is for the strict purpose of getting you off track, the better off you'll start to understand why people are coming at you. Second, pray. Pray every day and have a conversation with God. It doesn't have to be like some hum-ha, shamanic type of chant. Nah, just like I'm talking to you right here, you can talk to God. Come as you are, as they say. Go to him as you are. Humble yourself. Talk to him. Let him know what's going on and how he can help you best overcome these situations. 3, have an awareness of your surroundings and the people in your life. So a little bit of what I was just explaining. Once you have that awareness, you start to realize, you know what, I need to kind of either rid myself of these people or keep them at arm's length. Whatever needs to be done, just do it. But keep your awareness at an all-time high. It is so detrimental to our journey when we simply ignore or second guess the motives of people that are actually clear as the day is bright. Okay? Don't ignore the signs. And I just mentioned number 4, which was create distance between yourself and negative energy. And I was saying that about people, but negative energy as well. Like, don't put yourself in certain environments that you know are not conducive to your personal growth. Like, there's certain things that if you're on an assignment, if you're on your appointed journey, there's certain things that you can't bring with you. There's certain habits that you can't have anymore because they will hold you back. So like, for instance, I do not go to the club. I do not party. I do not go to the bar and drink. I do not hang around people who, you know, their thing is, let's go and drink. It's Friday night. Let's get, you know what, wasted. No, that is not conducive to my journey. So I cannot hang around people like that. I cannot be in environments like that. And by the way, you know, it's up to you how you move in life. But for me, I see the club and the bar scene and all of that as low vibrational energy and low vibrational environments. So I don't want to put myself in a place where it's going to bring my energy level down. Alcohol numbs your actual high frequency. It does bring your vibration down. So, you know, having a drink once in a while is okay. But, you know, to consistently be drinking all the time, not a good look, honey. Try and slow down a little bit. I ain't going to tell you quit. I ain't your mama. But I can submit the idea of slowing down. And then the last point, which is something I want you guys to walk away with. You are not alone. Okay? You are not alone. God has your back at all times. And in that, when you go to speak to God, ask him, help me find my community. Help me find the support that I need to continue to not only vibrate at a high level, but to progress further. Because like I said, when you're trying to go into your next, there's a lot of things that you can't carry with you, including people. So you want to be in a community that is conducive to you moving forward and being your best self at all times. So that's pretty much it, folks. How to live your life with God's favor on you. Like I said in the beginning, it's not the things, but these are some things that I experience and how I try to deal with them on a day-to-day basis. So I hope you guys have been blessed with what I just shared and it resonated with you. And I'm praying that whatever you take away from here, that you are able to apply it to your life and move forward in a positive way. Okay, you guys take care. Have an awesome Friday. Peace.